Okay, perfect. So let's start with, could you introduce yourself and tell us about what you do?
Okay. Hello, my name is Marieke de Lange. I work in the Netherlands at Rijkswaterstaat. That's the executive agency of our Ministry of Infrastructure and Water Management. I'm an ecologist by training and by heart, specialized in aquatic ecology, the underwater nature. And at Rijkswaterstaat, my role is to be an advisor to projects. So I'm not in projects involved myself, but I advise projects to gain as much ecological gain as possible. Uh, you have to think about Water Framework Directive and Natura 2000 projects like. And I'm also involved in an EU project. It's called Merlin, which focuses on nature-based solutions and mainstreaming and transforming society to really embrace nature-based solutions.
What's your role in Merlin? Also advising?
My role in Merlin is a bit more practical, hands-on. We have a Dutch case study. I work together with a science institute, Deltares, on a Dutch case study as part of Merlin. So we're case study number 4, Room for the River. And as part of that case study, we have money to spend in the field to really enhance the ecology. So that's the most practical hands-on experience that I have in projects. And our case study is aiming at rewetting floodplains in spring to give the underwater life a boost. So you have more primary production and more food for fish and birds to feed on during spring and summer.
So this has
And
already been implemented or it's about to be implemented?
it's in the process of being implemented. And procedures can be quite long, and the EU project is quite short, 4 years. But this year we are in the last year of the Merlin project. So this year we had 2 implementation projects really um, uh, completed, and you have to think about really simple measures in the field.
Mm.
Um, our floodplains are quite managed by dikes, and you can manage the system differently. It's a matter of keeping a sluice closed at the right time. So if there's a winter flood, a floodplain will fill itself with water, and if you keep the sluice closed, then the water will stay in the floodplain. And if this can be done in spring, in the months May and June, then you have uh, usually higher temperatures, but a longer daylight, then the primary production can really give a boost.
I think you mentioned something already of a challenge of EU projects being a bit short term and then your restoration measures maybe being more of like long term, taking longer than expected. Um, Do you have any other challenges that occurred during this case study development or in general for from your experience when it comes to restoration?
Um, the main challenge in the EU project was that it takes a lot more time to talk about the solution and have everybody involved to agree on that it's a good solution. And then you have to think about the technical managers of the dike, the water safety managers at the Rijkswaterstaat. You have a landowner, you have other stakeholders. The technical solution is quite easy and not expensive, but the time needed to get everybody on the same line, on the same page to agree on this is a good solution, that took more time than I optimistically thought of at the start of the EU project.
What kind of activities did you plan to get everyone involved? Was there anything?
Um, how we approached it first was just by email or uh,
Mhm.
the reaching out to the province of Gelderland, for example, of the State Forestry Agency, who is a big landowner and nature manager. And first I thought, okay, I can just give them a present like, hi, I have a Merlin project and I can help you. And then it's kind of, but we already do our own thing. We don't need you. And then it took, so I spent a lot of time investing in the relation with those colleagues at different, well, at different provinces, before they really said, okay, you can really help us a little bit and we can work together. So that took about 2 years, I have to say.
Oh, wow.
Um, This also started in COVID time, so a lot of the meetings had to be online, and what we spent time on as part of the EU project was organizing when it was allowed to have field visits combined with some presentations about the project, but going out in the field and have people talk and meet outside.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then I took a bit, yeah, like 2 or 3 of those stakeholder meetings to really get a good, lasting relationship. So that was my learning point of my main message that the most important thing that I learned in this project. It takes really time and effort and to
Patience.
build up patience to build up a relation. You
Yeah.
cannot force a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe also one thing that came up to my mind is that personal contact is probably a lot better if you have it instead of just if you email someone who
Yes.
you have no personal relations to. It's
Yeah.
always useful to have.
Yes. And well, of course, I was aware of that, but I thought, well, hey, I'm bringing a present. I have
Yeah.
money. I can help you. And
Yeah.
then still, you really have to step back from your own position and think about the position of the other person. What is he needing? He is already on doing projects, and he doesn't really need the EU project to help him or her.
Were
So
there
that took some
things
time.
were there things that you wanted to do but you couldn't do because then you once you were exchanging with other stakeholders in their opinion you had to adjust your planning or was it all fine?
Um, the, there's one floodplain that we really still want to try to get a project running, and it's not going to happen within the time frame of the
Mm.
EU project, but we can uh, help out with a preparation study, like a desk study to set out the plan. And at the start of the project 4 years ago, I thought this is the easy one, but it turned out to be the most difficult one.
Mhm.
uh, and I'm still in that process, and it has to do with uh, a water board, a province, the state forestry, us as Rijkswaterstaat, too many key players,
Mm.
too many rules and regulations. It is a floodplain with with a lot of stakeholders around the agriculture inside the dike who thinks, well, rewetting is not a good idea.
Yeah.
So it had a lot of really difficult stakeholder issues, but also people were too limited personnel at the different uh, organizations. Both the
Mhm.
state forestry and the water board, they're understaffed, so nobody who could really pick this up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that took it, but now at the end, it is still work in progress. But
Mhm.
I'm now quite optimistic that we can, from the EU project, we can uh, get something together.
Okay, but first you thought this might be the easiest
Yeah.
to implement, and then
Yes.
you realize there are too many key stakeholders who have different opinions and conflicting interests, maybe?
Not really conflicting
Okay.
interests, but different opinions and understaffed. I think that was a main
Mm.
issue as well.
Okay. Okay. No one
And
to
then
implement.
yes, and also one person uh, really going by the book, and that sometimes you just have to go do something. So it is also has to do with the nature of people who you
Yeah.
have to work with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you can never know.
you can never know.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe one of the last questions I have is just in general, I think you mentioned patience and maybe like time that you need and energy, but anything else that you would recommend someone wanting to implement a restoration project? Some advice that you can give them?
Um, Start with going to the location and meet the stakeholders there. Don't start behind your desk and sending out emails maybe like I started, but that was also still in COVID time, so that's my small excuse, but that's really what I learned. You have to go out in the field and see it yourself and talk with the stakeholders and really appreciate their concerns. And from there on, you can see, okay, recognize these concerns, or maybe my project needs to have a different angle, but can still I can overcome your concerns by maybe adapting my project.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Very true.
yeah,
Yeah. A lot of communication and a lot of
yeah,
seeing different people, different perspectives, trying to align them.
trying, yes,
Yeah.
but really try to step into the perspective of the other person. Uh, I'm an aquatic ecologist. I work at Rijkswaterstaat. People view me as oh, you're Rijkswaterstaat. You generally we kind of like tell others to do, and they have to abide our rules.
Hmm.
But that's not really a cooperative way.
Hmm.